Here I'm just finishing up going NCAV valuation with him and making sure he knows how to calculate it correctly and how to
So
compare
it's
it to the market cap to find out if it's undervalued or not.
So market cap divided by total current assets minus total liabilities. So the market cap has to be under that figure.
He's got a little bit backwards here, which I'll go over in a second.
Okay, that's net. The old days, people didn't like going through all the financial statements by hand. So yeah, conclusions. Maybe if we can go to the next conclusion. I have conclusions and questions.
Before we get to his questions, we need to finish going over NCAV evaluation again. Net current asset valuation. Current assets minus total liabilities. And compare this to the company's market cap. For the company to be undervalued in terms of the NCAV valuation, its market cap needs to be lower than the NCAV valuation. This is one of the most ultra-conservative valuations you can do.
Maybe if I had a little speculation money, I'll dig a little deeper. But after kind of talking with you about the regulatory and how it's all going to shake out, probably won't even speculate. Probably.
Here I'm getting more into teaching mode. I'm asking him what questions he has left at this point in the evaluation since we're almost done. First question I asked him was, would he consider investing in this company at this point in the preliminary analysis? And he's explaining that no, he would not, which shows he's building his own investment.
We're going in depth. So I did have some questions. Statements of shareholders' equity we reviewed. Share increase question reviewed. This document versus the income statements.
Here we're just going over briefly some of the questions he has. The first one is the consolidated statement of shareholders' equity. He wrote it down wrong. It's actually called the consolidated statement of shareholders' equity, which I talked about in one of these previous case study videos. And the next question he had was about the difference in the massive difference in the amount of shares, which again we answered in a previous video of why that is as well.
And then the TTM operating income, this is on Morningstar. They had a completely different number. If you look at the income statement and the key ratios on Morningstar, they had a completely different number on operating income.
Here we go over a question he had about the operating margin numbers being different on Morningstar's site different in two different places on the same company on Morningstar's site.
You know what? That's because I was just thinking, oh no, operating income in millions. So on the key ratios, it's 23 negative.
Yeah, they are different.
Now, this is kind of weird. They're mixing it up where it says financials on the key ratios. Some are in percentages and some are in dollars. Right?
I'm assuming. Here I'm speculating why the numbers are different, and the reason I gave him is there's a difference in the Morningstar beta site, which they're testing now, and the old Morningstar site. I'm assuming that there's some kind of mix-up in the data feed.
And it doesn't, to us, they're both negative. Now, if this was a good company that we want to do further analysis, we definitely want to see why that. I guess we just go to the 10Ks, right? It's the deeper you go, the more to the 10Ks you go.
Yeah.
Yes, he's correct. The only time I use Morningstar is for preliminary analysis. After the preliminary analysis is done, I focus 100% on the company's financial reports.
Got it. The deeper you go, so negative 23 and negative 45, still both negative, so who cares?
Exactly. In this case, we don't really care because we know after doing our preliminary analysis that we're not going to research this company further, so the reason why the numbers are off doesn't really matter to us.
Oh. But on the key ratios, they're putting that under the trailing 12 months, so it's shifting for some reason.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a good point.
So.
Yeah, Morningstar it sounds like it's a very general guideline.
Yeah, And we just found out by looking at their financial statements on Morningstar that yes, it is a problem with their data feed. They're just inputting the numbers into the wrong places in this case.
All right, the next one I would like to go through that exercise. If you look at the income statement, no, the one above that, go to page 3, and you have revenue, and you have some items, and they get the gross margin, and it was very confusing on page 3 of their sheet. There it is. So you just passed it. Right at the top there where it says revenue, page 3, one more down. There you go. So if you look at revenue, and then you get the gross margin, what do those numbers mean? I'm just trying to wrap my head around each one of those. And I forgot why I was doing it, but I think it's a good... Yes. What the heck what does each one of those mean?
He had a great question here, which I'm about to go over in the next narrated space that got cut out.
They threw away a lot of weed, I guess. They went bad. I went to note 6 too, and I couldn't reconcile those numbers, the 60 million with the note 6. I had them both up, and I spent about 20 minutes on it, and I still couldn't figure out what was going on.
Again, he asked a great question here. What does the unrealized gain on the biological assets mean?
Yeah.
Any case like this, I get it. I know generally, of course, what that means, but I want to know specifically what it means. So I go immediately to the footnotes, which I'm doing after we talk a little bit here. I'm going to search through the footnotes. We find out what they state that number is. And typically, or generally, it's wasted plants that went bad, plants they couldn't sell, stuff like that. Generally, that's what it is, or what they mean in the financials or in the footnotes. But having said that, their numbers don't match up. So this, again, and I tell him this as well. This would be a major red flag if I were to invest in this, or if I would want to research this company further for potential investment. Again, here it's more of a curiosity because we know we're not going to look at this company further because it's just so terrible in terms of valuation and everything else. But if you were looking to research a company further and you came across numbers that don't match that could be important, you need to figure out why, or you need to avoid that company.
I'm guessing from seeds to plants, right? That's from seeds to plants. That's 60 million. Well, that's an asset under there, right? It's positive 59 million. And then that's what I'm saying. When they harvest it, yeah, it's very confusing. So, but still, they should have 13 million in assets.
General rule, mental model, heuristic, whatever you want to call it. If a company's financial reports are incredibly complex, and even after reading them slowly, taking notes, and doing research into the company's financials and their footnotes, if you can't understand it and what the numbers mean, or if the numbers are not matching, generally it's a good idea to stay away from them, because if you can't understand something, even after doing a ton of research into it, you can't get a legal informational advantage. Again, I talked about this in one of the first videos here. What we're trying to do here with all of this analysis is trying to gain a legal informational advantage for other investors to find potentially great investments or companies to invest in. If you cannot understand something, even after doing a ton of research on it, or like this case, going throughout the footnotes and looking at all their footnotes and their explanations, and it still doesn't make sense, and in this case it doesn't make sense, and the numbers don't match up, even if we were considering investing in it, this to me would be a big enough red flag to where we wouldn't want to invest in it, since their inventory numbers and revenue affects their entire company.
No, kilograms. So it's 2.2 kilograms per pound. So that's about 12,000 pounds of wheat.
That's a shitload of weed that they're not selling.